Becoming a leader, Mark's transformation.
John Miller had always been a creature of habit. For most of his life, he had followed a simple, predictable routine: wake up at 6:30 a.m., have breakfast, commute to work, spend 8 hours at the office, and return home to unwind. There was something comforting in the predictability, the knowledge that every day would unfold much like the last. But as time went on, that comfort grew stale. Deep down, John sensed an emptiness gnawing at him, an invisible weight that seemed to press harder with each passing year. In his early 30s, John was living what many might call a safe life. He had a stable job as a middle manager at a large corporation, a modest one-bedroom apartment in the suburbs, and a few hobbies he'd dip into from time to time. Despite having a career that provided him with financial stability, he felt there was something fundamentally unfulfilling about his daily life. His days blended into one another, and the monotony left him questioning, is this it? Is this all my life is meant to be? This introspective journey could have gone unnoticed for years if it weren't for one fateful day when a young, ambitious colleague named Dave presented a new business proposal at an internal meeting. Dave was only 24, fresh out of college, and full of ideas and enthusiasm. He had developed a side project, a small tech startup that he had been running in his spare time, and it had started gaining traction. The presentation was meant to showcase his new project, which he had been working on for months without company support. Watching Dave's presentation, John felt a pang of admiration mixed with a hint of envy. He remembered his own college years, the excitement he once had, and how he had dreamed of starting his own business someday. But over time, that dream had faded, buried under the weight of responsibilities and the lure of a safe career path. In Dave, he saw a reflection of his younger self, a version of himself who had been willing to take risks and chase something bigger. After the presentation, John caught up with Dave in the hallway and asked him more about his project. Dave spoke passionately about how he had taken a leap of faith, investing his time and money into something he believed in, despite the risks. I knew I might fail, Dave admitted, but I just couldn't shake the feeling that I had to try. If I didn't, I'd always wonder, what if? Those words struck a chord in John's heart. That evening, as he sat alone in his apartment, he found himself questioning his own life choices. Was he happy? Did he feel fulfilled? The answer was a resounding no. His life, though safe, lacked excitement and purpose. The idea of starting something new, of building something from the ground up, sparked a small but growing flame of excitement within him. For the next few days, John couldn't get the idea out of his mind. He remembered an old passion project he had once considered, an online platform that would connect freelance graphic designers with small businesses. Years ago, he had even sketched out a rough business plan but had quickly dismissed it, telling himself that he didn't have the resources or the skills to make it happen. But now, with the encouragement from Dave's example, he wondered if maybe it was time to dust off that idea and give it another shot. At first, John faced a multitude of fears. He had been out of touch with technology and had no idea where to start with developing a website or managing a business. But the thought of taking a risk, of stepping out of his comfort zone, began to feel more exciting than frightening. He decided to start small, dedicating an hour each evening to research and planning. Gradually, he started learning about web development, digital marketing, and the essentials of running a small business. The journey was anything but easy. His first attempt to launch the website was a complete disaster. After spending countless hours and a significant amount of his savings, he launched the platform only to receive almost no traffic. Weeks passed, and he made no sales, no signups. It was disheartening, and John began questioning whether he was cut out for entrepreneurship. The fear of failure weighed heavily on him, threatening to pull him back into his safe, predictable life. But as he reflected on his mistakes, John began to understand something valuable: failure was part of the process. Each setback taught him a lesson, a way to improve. He spent weeks analyzing what went wrong, realizing that he had focused too much on the technology and not enough on understanding his customers. He had built a website, but he hadn't taken the time to connect with his target audience, to understand their needs and pain points. With renewed focus, John went back to the drawing board. He reached out to small business owners, conducted surveys, and listened to their challenges in finding affordable design services. He started implementing their feedback, refining his platform to make it more user-friendly and tailored to their needs. Little by little, he began to see progress. A few businesses signed up, then a few more. By the end of his first year, his platform had a modest but growing user base, and John finally felt the joy of seeing his hard work pay off. As his business grew, so did his confidence. He found himself energized in a way he hadn't felt in years. The daily grind of his old job now seemed distant, like a faded memory. The idea of going back to a life of predictability felt impossible. He had tasted the thrill of creating something meaningful, something that was his own. The hours were longer, the challenges more intense, but for the first time, he felt truly alive. One of the most rewarding moments came when a young entrepreneur reached out to him for advice, expressing admiration for the platform he had built. The young man's words mirrored the very inspiration that Dave had given John years earlier, and John realized he had come full circle. He had become a source of inspiration for others, a testament to the power of taking risks and believing in oneself. Today, John's platform connects hundreds of freelance designers with small businesses around the country. His journey has been far from easy, filled with setbacks and moments of doubt. But each challenge has taught him resilience, and each victory has brought a sense of fulfillment that he had never found in his old life. Looking back, John sees that his greatest accomplishment wasn't building a successful business, it was overcoming his own fear, stepping out of his comfort zone, and discovering the strength he never knew he had. John's story has become a beacon of hope for his friends and colleagues who watch him from afar, inspired by his courage to follow his dreams. And for John, life is no longer a series of predictable days, it's an adventure, a journey where each day holds the possibility of growth, discovery, and fulfillment.
If you have heard this, congratulations on your patience, concentration, and seriousness. In addition to learning English, that is also what we want you to achieve. Wish you an effective day of study and work.